Today, I'm taking a look at the new Page Puncher 0 Hour Superman. I'm also going to be showcasing a selection of Superman head swaps and attempting to put a wire in the cape. If all that wasn't enough, I'm even taking a quick look at the Red Platinum Page Puncher's Extant. Welcome to 5 Points of Articulation. Huge thanks to McFarlane Toys for making this video possible by sending me these figures to review. Starting with the packaging, and this Superman comes soaring in a plastic clamshell. Down here is the UPC for those searching for soups in store, and then flipping it around, the backer art is the comic book, this one being a reprint of 0 Hour number 4. For packaging, 0 Hour Superman gets 4 points. Moving on to presentation, and the Man of Steel stands at 7 5/8 inches, or thereabouts 18 3/4 centimeters, and is mainly just reuse of that Crisis on Infinite Earths body I like so much, with the only new tooling being that mulleted head. It's been modeled off the artwork of Dan Jurgens, and is a look that a lot of us have been wanting for a while. I know a lot of collectors would prefer if this body had more defined musculature. Personally, I'm fine with it. I also really like this darker blue color scheme. When Superman came back from the dead, his costume changed to a more royal blue, and this reflects that. One thing I'll admit I don't like is that they put the black outline around the S, but I'll also admit to being a hypocrite because I don't mind it on other characters like the Flash. I actually blame Superpowers for that. Superpowers Flash had a black outline, so in my mind it's okay if others do. Superpower Superman didn't though, so to my eye he looks better without it. That's one thing I did prefer about the Godzilla 2-pack version. That and the fact that they gave him a wired cape. The wire thing is really more of a conversation for playability, but the fact that he doesn't have one means that in a neutral pose his cape just kinda sticks out like a kite. That's because the fabric is that shiny stuff that they usually use for Batman. I appreciate that they put the S on the back, but in general I do prefer this softer fabric. Let me know how you feel about the outline in the comments below. While you're down there, do me a favor and page punch that like button. Honestly, I don't even know what that means. Docking for the cape and logo. For presentation, Superman gets an okay 3 points. Before we continue, I just want to take a moment to check out Extant. He's actually the red platinum that goes with this Superman. Extant is the villain of 0 Hour, and is an evil version of Hank Hall, better known as the Hawk half of Hawk and Dove. He's built on the Green Lantern body. His costume has that knitted texture, but the reuse means he does have extra cuffs for his gloves, and also his boots, which he does not have in the comic. McFarlane did, however, go in to sculpt a new harness. Speaking of the torso, it has been mildly tweaked to accommodate a cape. Otherwise, and the head is brand new. Nice job on those gridded teeth. Hank can look up this high, and this far down, and in addition to the normal shoulder and rotator cuff, has double jointed elbows, wrist balls, and gets a bit more hunch forward than usual. Standard McFarlane hips with a pretty high kick, perfect twist, double jointed knee, and of course I think you know the rest. He comes with a trading card and a figure stand, that same issue of 0 Hour number 4, alternate gesturing hands, and unlike Superman, has a wire in the cape, which at $28 I do think makes him a slightly better value. He's only available in store, so here's his UPC. Thanks once again to McFarlane for sending him my way. I'm giving Extant 4 out of 5. Moving on to Poseability, and that mullet means that Superman can't really look up. He can, however, look down, and while he does get a bit of side-to-side tilt, the mullet does get in the way. Working our way down, he can raise his arm this high and get complete rotation at the shoulder, and benefits from a wibbly-wobbly rotator cuff, bicep swivel, and double jointed elbow with a nice DC multiverse bend. Wrist balls do all the wrist ball things, and then moving to the middle, the Man of Tomorrow has a diaphragm joint and a ball jointed waist. That allows for arching back this far, which of course is great for a flying character, especially when that flying character can't really look up. Punching him forward though is a bit less super. No problem of course with side-to-side tilt. He also has twist at the diaphragm and also the waist. Below the belt, Superman has the standard McFarlane hips. Not quite a 90-degree kick, but that twist is pretty good. Speaking of pretty good, we've also got a double jointed knee, toe articulation, and ankle balls that can swivel, hinge, and like Superman, going from short hair to death, to long hair to short hair, to an electric boogaloo version, and then back to short hair again. Pivot. Docking for the lack of ab crunch, and for Poseability, this Superman gets 4 points. Moving on to Playability, Superman comes with a trading card and figure stand. I really appreciate that they used some dedicated artwork for the trading card, rather than cropping this image out of the cover. Once again, this is 0 Hour number 4, which is a direct sequel to Crisis on Infinite Earths. In fact, both feature inking or finished artwork by Jerry Ordway, so if you think about it, this particular wave being Crisis and 0 Hour focused makes a lot of sense. It also makes sense that McFarlane gave Superman alternate flying hands. The only thing that doesn't make sense is not putting a wire in the cape, but again, I'll be tackling that after the head swaps. First though, and for some side-by-side comparisons, here's Nightfall and the gold label Year 2 Batman, as well as the Walmart Year 1 and the black and gray version of Hush. But for more Grant Morrison JLA era Batman, I like Norm Brayfogle or No Man's Land. In that JLA spirit, and here we have Target and 2-pack versions of Kyle Rayner, along with Hook Hand Aquaman and the Task Force version of Wally, while we wait for the newly announced comic version. Regarding Diana, and I have collector edition and rebirth versions of Wonder Woman, but I'm really hoping at some point McFarlane gives us that John Byrne version. Rounding out that JLA roster is the Martian Manhunter, but then shifting to other members of the Superman family, and here we have Target and Page Puncher's versions of Supergirl. It's worth noting that Page Puncher's Supergirl had lots of new tooling, but still managed to have a wired cape. Speaking of Page Punchers, and here's the Page Puncher Superboy, which I spruced up with a jacket. Superboy brings us to other stand-in Supermen like Eradicator and Steel, which is a perfect segue to the treacherous cyborg Superman and other Superman villains. Villains like Suited and Battlesuit Lex Luthor, Page Punchers and Injustice 2 Brainiac, with Bat-Zorro 2-pack and Walmart versions of Bizarro, reminding us that we really do need a Bizarro on this Crisis body. For a relative scale comparison, here's Pizza Spidey and the Spectacular Spider-Man. Not sure if you saw, but they just announced a new Spider-Man Superman crossover next year, and boy howdy would I love it if McFarlane was able to do 2-packs of that like they did with Godzilla. One in a million pipe dreams aside though, and as always, here's Superman with Stealth Iron Man. Mullet bros! And now on to the part I know a lot of you were excited for, the head swaps. For the first and one of the most obvious swaps, here's Justice League Task Force. Since it's the same body, I'm not gonna bother doing the other way around, but if you prefer this head sculpt, you will have to do a bit of repainting. For another mulleted Man of Steel, here's the Return of Superman. If you like this combo, you will need to swap it out with a shorter neck peg, like maybe from Hush. These are some of my favorite head sculpts, and I do like this combination. In fact, here's that same face with short hair in the form of Action Comics 1000. Overall, and I've been a big fan of this head on this body, though there is a bit of difference in the skin tones between the face and neck. That being the case, may I suggest this head from Rebirth Superman. It's the same sculpt, but the paint job matches a little bit better. Other way around, and I unfortunately don't like this quite as much. It does seem a little out of scale with this body. Next up, and here we have Hush. I really prefer this Jim Lee style sculpt on the beefier proportions of the Crisis body, but Hush is a bit on the pale side, so you are gonna want to repaint him. On the contrary, you're gonna want to use that longer Page Puncher's neck peg on the Hush body, but with a little bit of repainting, this wouldn't be half bad. A Hush repaint with one of my favorite Superman heads, here's Action Comics #1. You're gonna want to use the longer neck peg that comes with the Page Punchers for this one, but if you repainted that neck piece, it would be a winner. For one I'm not all that confident about, here's DC Classic. As much as I like it, this head is a little small for this body, though if you were determined to make it work, obviously you could. Other way around though, and that oversized Superman head makes it look like Superman wearing a Superman mask. But hey, it's in perfect scale with the hands. As for my favorite McFarlane Superman, however, and here we have the digital Silver Age. Thanks to the matching black outlines, it kind of feels like these two were supposed to go together. And you know what? This head sculpt on this blue looks really good. On the other hand, while I maintain that long-haired Superman should have a darker blue suit, this does look pretty good too. Also keep in mind that you could always use some heat and elbow grease to swap the neck pieces rather than having to paint. All that being said, for the one I am the most interested in, here we have the Godzilla 2-pack. And yeah, between the wired cape made with fabric and that logo without the outline, this is everything that I wanted the Page Punchers version to be. Lastly, the Superman and Lois Lane comic version of the Solar Suit. I really hope that McFarlane is able to give us a proper 90s recovery suit Superman while they still can. And if they do, I think that their icon figure would be a perfect base body. It's pretty much just the Crisis Superman, but without all the extra sculpted details like the boots and things like that. If they're not able to do it though, this would be a pretty good start for a custom. Now that we've tried tried out the head swaps, let's try to put a wire in the cape. I wanted to save that for last, just in case I messed it up. First things first, and using your hairdryer, try to get this neck piece as soft as possible. Fortunately for us, that seems to have popped off nice and easy. Now I'm going to attempt to peel off the cape, and voila! Unlike the Batman capes, which usually have holes ready for us to snake our floral wire through, this is sealed up pretty good. There's also some caked on glue. I've made one small cut and that seems to be good. I've cut my floral wire to be as flush with the seam as I possibly can. So I've got my wire in, and as you can see, I've got this lip of cape covering it. I'm going to want to run that across this groove. The tricky part now is getting the head back in place. But the good news is I got it, and it's pretty flush. Very small amount of exposed wire, unfortunately. Overall, this is a great step in the right direction, but I do want to see if I can fix this. And yeah, with a little bit of fidgeting and tucking, I think I got it. Seriously, look at what a difference this has made. It is literally night and day. There is a seam at the bottom, so you could put an extra wire in there if you wanted to, but honestly, I am more than happy enough with this. Whether or not I can put a wire in the cape, I really shouldn't have to. I appreciate the hands and comic, but for playability, I am giving Superman 3 points. This leaves us with nothing left to discuss but the price, and yeah, I hate to keep harping on it, but the cape really holds it back. The digital Silver Age was the same price point as Page Punchers and had it again, in Page Punchers, Supergirl had it. Heck, even Extant in this very wave has a wired cape. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot to love, and I'm very grateful for this figure, but this is one Page Puncher that seems to really hold its punches. For price, I'm giving 0 Hour Superman 3 points, averaging out to a still pretty okay total of 3.4 out of 5. Sound off in the comments and let me know which combination you like best. And once again, huge thanks to McFarlane Toys for sending this figure my way. For more Superman videos, check out one of these, and until next time, play nice and have fun.